Hello, my name's Robert Dean Steele, and we are praying through the Psalms, and this happens to be Psalm 37. Let's look at it together. He says, do not fret because of evil men, or be envious of those who do wrong. They are like grass that will soon wither, and green plants that will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the pasture and enjoy the land of the Lord. So here he's basically saying, just like the grass and just like the flowers that fade, so shall evil men. But when you trust in the Lord, you are going to enjoy what the abundance of God has for you. He says, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Isn't that a great promise today? Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do that. And that's talking about the consistency of the Lord. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. As we see the consistency of both the sun and throughout the day, so the Lord will be consistent. He will be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Sometimes it feels like things are, those around us are basically succeeding, but the truth of the matter is, it's not happening. We need to be still and know that he is God. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It only leads to evil. A very good thought for us today. Then he says, for evil men will be cut off, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. He was obviously thinking about what the Lord said to Joshua in Joshua chapter 1. He says, a little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for him, you will not be able to find them. Why? Because they have basically faded. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy the peace. Now, meek basically means those who are humble and penitent, and they will find that great peace, that absence of personal conflict and warfare. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, and he knows their day is coming. We need to remember that God is the one who keeps the books, and vengeance really is in his hands. The wicked draw the sword and bend the bow to bring down the poor and needy, to slay those whose ways are upright. But their swords will pierce their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. Basically, when people plan evil, that which they plan will actually backfire and come upon them. Then it goes on to say but it is better to have a little and righteous than wealth with the wicked. How true it is. Let's be content with what God gives us. For the power of the wicked will be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous. Isn't it great to know that you are in the center of God's hand? Then he goes on to say, the days of the blameless are known of the Lord, and their inheritance will endure forever. Every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father of light. He is the one who has no shadow or turning. That's what we learn from James. In times of disaster, they will not wither, and in days of famine, they will enjoy plenty. An example of that was Isaac, who in the time of famine actually reaped 100-fold. Then it goes on to say this, but the wicked will perish, and the Lord's will be the beauty of the fields, for they will vanish in smoke. He says basically this, the wicked are going to perish, and they'll vanish away. The wicked may borrow, but they will not repay. But the righteous will always have generosity. Blessed are those those the Lord blesses will inherit the land, but those he curses will be cut off. There's a very important lesson there. The Lord delights in a man's way, and he makes his steps firm. That means that when we put our trust in the Lord, wherever we go, the path is going to be level and firm. Though he stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his right hand. Isn't that great to know? Then he says, when I was young, and now I'm old, and this is such a great promise, I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. That is a promise that you and I can know beyond. David looks back and he says, I have seen the consistency of the Lord and how he deals with his children. Turn from evil and do good, and you will dwell in the land forever. A simple exhortation. For the Lord loves the just and will not forsake his faithful ones. David is looking back over his life and he's seeing the consistency, the constancy, and the carefulness of God. Then he goes on to say this, the Lord loves the just and they will not forsake his faithful one. They'll be protected forever, but not the offspring. They will be cut off. The righteous will inherit and dwell in the land. The mouth of the righteous man utters wisdom, and his tongue speaks what is just. Out of the heart what the mouth will speak. And when you have justice and righteousness, that's what's going to come out. Then he goes on to say, the law of this God is in the heart, and his feet do not slip. That's where we need to have the word of God in our hearts today. Then he goes on to say this, the wicked may lie in wait for the righteous, seeking their very lives, but the Lord will not leave them in their power or let them be condemned before brought to trial. Wait for the Lord and keep his ways. He will exalt you and you'll inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, you will be able to see that. Such a wonderful contrast. Then he goes on to say, I have seen the wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a green tree in the native soil. But he will soon pass away and will be more. Though I look for him, he will not be found. How true it is. Consider the blameless, observe the upright. There is a future for the man of peace. That's what we have. We have a hope and a future. Jesus has gone to prepare a place for us, and where he is, we shall be also. Then he goes on to say this, but all sinners will be destroyed. The future of the wicked will be cut off. Now listen to this. This has been a recurring theme throughout this particular psalm. David contrasting between the wicked and the righteous. Salvation of the righteous comes from the Lord. He is their stronghold in the time of trouble. Isn't that great to know that wherever you find yourself, God is with you? The Lord helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them. Why? Because they put and take their refuge in him. Wonderful promises, wonderful contrast from Psalm 37. My name is Robert Dean Steele. We've been reading through the Psalms.